Well, actually, I remember really clearly what made me decide to do my doctoral research, and that was an interview I heard on CBC radio with a family that lived in Cape Breton. And the husband had worked on the coke ovens at the Sydney Steel plant in Sydney. But the men who had worked on the coke ovens had a very high rate of respiratory illness, and many of them didn't live to collect their pensions if they lived long enough to retire. And this was a family that was talking about the trade-off that they felt they had between having a breadwinner who could bring home the money to feed the family and have employment in an area of high unemployment in Cape Breton, and at the same time know that by doing that work he would probably die an early and drawn out and painful death. And the woman who was being interviewed had lost her father in that way, and her husband was ill. And despite knowing what she knew, she said, "We really don't have any choice." And it was that statement, "We don't have any choice," that for me was utterly understandable, but at the same time unacceptable, you know. And I just felt that I wanted to do work that would make a choice, that would help to create choices so that people wouldn't always be in this situation of having to trade off their health and the environment for income and security, right? So the first project I actually did was in Cape Breton. I went out and I interviewed men who had worked on the coke ovens, and men who were in the union, the steelworkers union there, and it really showed me the challenges of an economy that's based on one industry, and there's been very little diversification, and there isn't a process in place to think about how you could develop an alternative economy that isn't just about creating jobs, but it's about income security, right? And it's in a way where I've come to in terms of Alberta and the problem of the oil sands, and thinking about how do we make a transition away from this dependency on bitumen extraction and exports, which is contributing to the destabilization of the planet's climate, right? And how do we do that in a way that builds a better society, you know, where people can feel good about the kind of work they do. So what I'm really working for now, inside and outside of the university, is to get governments to engage in a process of planning and involving citizens that will help us move that way, because we don't have time. We don't have time to wait another 30 years, another 50 years, another 100 years for this transition. Our children don't have time.